Incentive is the engine of capitalism. Remove it and the system fails.
Hey, great to meet you, Patrick.
What's your name?
My name's Mason.
Mason, good to meet you.
Yeah. I'm value-tained. I'm a big fan of the channel.
Are you really?
So, yeah, I do watch it quite regularly.
Very cool.
I do not agree with your claim. I don't think that incentives are only born out of capitalism.
Okay.
Most capitalist defenders say that incentive is because of scarcity, and people's ability to get what is necessary pushes them to work harder. I disagree with that. I'd say that some of our hardest workers are single moms working 3 to 4 jobs, and the resources that they're able to acquire compared to those that utilize their workers in order to build profit for their own companies is not equivocal.
So how would you do it? How would you change it?
Yeah, so I think that humans inherently want to be meaningful. They want to contribute to their communities. They want to contribute to society. When you look at depression rates, oftentimes it's people who aren't able to do anything besides laying in their bed and basically barely taking care of themselves. So I think that it's just a human intrinsic value to want to bring value to their community or grander society.
Okay,
so I don't think that it has to be through scarcity alone that scares people into working, if that makes sense.
I worked for scarcity. I think there's levels to it. You have the survival folks who work for survival to pay their bills. Some work for status, some work for freedom, and some work for legacy. The folks that work 3 or 5 jobs, to pay their bills and do what they're doing, if the incentive wasn't there, they wouldn't work 3 to 5 jobs. Some of the guys that build a bigger business that solve a lot of problems.
The incentive there is either I die or I work. That's not really a system that rewards merit. That's a system that pushes people into insecure positions.
Not necessarily. In many cases, we put ourselves in situations as well. But when we're talking incentive...
Are you saying that it's an individual failure for these single mothers that are working 3 to 4 jobs?
For some of them, it is.
Interesting.
For some of them, it is.
I'm glad you bite that bullet, because most people are not going to say that it's a moral failure of people that are born into poverty that continue to live out cyclical poverty.
For somebody like me, I came from the single mother system. My mother was a single mother. We had, my parents got a divorce twice. They married each other. They divorced. They remarried each other, divorced again. I came up, we didn't have a lot of choices. I joined the Army, I got at that system, kind of wanted to see what I was going to do for myself. Do I stay in the Army? Do I get out of the Army? I started working in sales. And then the incentive of working harder, eventually I built a good life for myself.
Again, you're totally dismissing the hard work that a lot of these people are putting into for just basic survival. I'd say that mechanics and plumbers and most people working blue-collar jobs that are probably watching this video are working tirelessly day after day.
I don't disagree.
They still feel...
And they're 6-figure earners. Okay? And they're 6-figure earners. They work hard, but they make good money. So what?
Insecure positions to where they don't even know if they're going to be able to afford rent in the next 6 months.
Yeah, that's not true. Once they get out of their apprenticeship, a lot of these guys are clearing 6 figures a year, bro.
So let me ask you.
If most Americans have a $400 to $500 emergency, they can't even afford that with the...
You're correct. You are correct. But people just need to be more intelligent with their spending. The problem in America is people have a spending problem.
Basic savings that they have.
Over 50% of people that live paycheck to paycheck are 6-figure earners. Or over 50% of 6-figure earners, live paycheck to paycheck. That's unacceptable.
So this is not something that we should celebrate as promises of a system that gives you more if you work harder. We should say that this is something that rewards.
And I would argue making like low 100,000s, because I was in that tax bracket before, it's very bad. Because I'd rather make, let me explain this. It's better to make 50K per year than to make 150K per year in a lot of situations. And I'll explain, unless you're disciplined, I'll explain why. When you make 50K per year, right? There's just certain shit that you can't do, right? You can't eat at nice restaurants. You might get 1 vacation a year, right? Like, you're just not going to be able to do certain shit. It is what it is, right?
Netflix and TV shows and talk specifically about, do you think that capitalism is a system of merit that rewards people that are of higher merit?
I do.
Okay, so how would you say that this is a meritocracy when we have some people that are born into excessive wealth and some people that are working minimum wage jobs to provide for 3 or 4 kids? How would you say that that's a meritocratic society?
Those are 2 different things.
They are 2 different things, very unequal things.
Well, no, not necessarily. The parents get credit for making responsible decisions so they can take care of their kids. The parents
get credit. It's not a meritocracy, though. We're building dynasties of wealth.
I didn't come from dynasties of wealth.
I know,
came from
you're an outlier. I get that. I get that individual. But we're talking about systems. Capitalism is a system. It's not an individual testimony.
But it's a system that you get to use in your advantage. It's a system that's produced the best results than any other economical system. There's not an economical system that's produced better results than this based on the incentive.
History is a march of progress, right? So there are going to be advancements that we make, or there's going to be solutions that we make to previous ailments. I'm not saying that capitalism hasn't brought in better things than systems like feudalism or monarchy, but that does not mean that we're at the end of history. Do you think that capitalism is the final solution, and this is what we're going to last?
Okay, so now, as you guys know, on this podcast, I cover a lot of foreign policy, okay? You know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I do think that I give some of the best fucking foreign policy breakdowns, especially when it comes to Middle Eastern foreign policy, right? I think there's only a few other guys that do it as good as I do, right? Of course, right, I come from a Muslim background. I speak Arabic. You know, I'm from the Arab world. I talk with my brother. My brother's really tapped in. I understand the Yahud. I understand them from a Muslim and Arab perspective, but I also understand them from an Arab perspective, so I'm able to blend both. What I will say is this, okay? There are aspects of every single economic ideology that has benefits and detriments, right? To sit there and say capitalism is the only way, though capitalism is good, there are aspects of it that are problematic, okay? Like, my thing is I'm able to independently think, and I can tell you guys what I think. I'm not going to just bite nigga shit and be like, oh yeah, capitalism only, yeah. No, there are some aspects of capitalism that I don't like. The example I'm going to give is I think having a for-profit medical Medicare system, a for-profit medical system is a problem, okay? Now, with that said, I already know what capitalists are going to tell me. Myron, having a capitalistic healthcare system is critical to push innovation, and I would agree with you on that. I would actually agree with you. You're right. You need to incentivize niggas to come out with new medicine, to come out with new procedures, to be on the cutting edge. Because human beings are naturally greedy and selfish. So to motivate them and inspire them to innovate, you must have capitalistic incentives. I agree with that, right? So my thing when it comes to economic ideology is no ideology overall is best in totality. Does that make sense? So what I'm trying to say is you need to combine aspects of capitalism alongside aspects of socialism, and then maybe a tad of communism here and there. And it's got to be a blend, a totality blend of everything. Because there are some aspects where capitalism is needed. Absolutely. And I would argue in the majority of the situations, capitalism is fucking needed because communism doesn't fucking work, bro. It just doesn't. Niggas are not going to work while getting paid the same as shit. Okay? And the state owns everything. It's not going to happen. But at the same time, we can't sit here and let greedy Jews let people fucking die because they can't afford insulin. There are aspects where you need to also do well by the people and take care of the people that can't take care of themselves, especially the elderly. Okay, and the children. I have a soft spot for kids, as you guys know, right? I have a very, if you want to trigger me, like fucking show me hungry kids or some shit like that, I'm going to be it bothers me a lot. That's why I'm so fucking vocal about what's going on in Palestine, what's going on in the Middle East, etc., right? In Yemen and Sudan, right? I don't like watching kids fucking suffer. So when it comes to the healthcare system, having a for-profit healthcare system creates problems. So what we need to do is we need to create the capitalistic incentive to create while simultaneously allowing the people to benefit from the medical innovations. And that's where this is the gap that we need to bridge. The capitalistic ideology forces the innovation. But what is good is that innovation if the people can't get that innovation and we're letting them die? This is why Luigi Mangione shot that nigga, bro. Obviously, he went about it in a horrible way. But did you guys ever think to realize why did everyone come out and support Luigi Mangione? Again, you guys know how I am. I analyze everything. I try to put myself in people's shoes. The reason why Luigi Mangione is considered a hero to the left is because for-profit healthcare, right, is something unique only to the United States. Nowhere else in the world, especially the developed world, are niggas dying from preventable diseases and shit. because they don't have the money. This is only an American thing. Even the fucking Jews, okay? Even the Jews who run our pharmaceutical industry, okay? The Jews that run it. Guess what? In Israel, I'm Israel guy. These niggas get free healthcare. So we pay them all this money. They bomb kids. And then they get free healthcare. See where I'm going with this? Even the Jews give themselves free healthcare, bruh. Now, I'm not saying we need to have free healthcare because then you're going to end up like Canada. It's fucking stupid. It ain't going to work. Niggas going to go to the doctor every day for no reason. I got a cough. Doc, help me out. Nah, man. Fuck that, right? So there does have to be some type of barrier. But the problem that we have in the United States right now, right, is we need to bridge the innovation to the, we need to bridge the capitalistic driven innovation, and we need to allow the people to get access to this innovation in a way where they're not getting fucking Jewed from the capitalistic mindset from said innovation. Does that make sense, chat? I think having some type of level where everyone has coverage and they make a copay as if they had insurance would be a viable option. So you can go see the doctor, right? And depending on the complexity of what you're going for, right? If you go see a regular practitioner, you're paying a $10, $20 copay. But if you're seeing a specialist, it's a $50 copay. If you're seeing an extra specialist, you're paying a $100 copay, right? So it needs to be where people are still paying, so they're not just going to a fucking doctor for no reason, like they do in Canada. But the for-profit model doesn't destroy the people's ability to get health care. Because it pisses me off that Israelis could take our fucking money and go see a doctor. Oy vey, my butt hurts. Meanwhile, your fucking grandma can't get insulin. That pisses me off.
Capitalism is the best economical system because it gives an incentive for you to decide how big of a life you want to build. And by the way, the best way to judge it, I agree with that. But there's parts, there's situations where capitalism could be very problematic because then the greed takes over. Let me just say this to you. The best way to judge it is in a very simple way. Take all the countries around the world. There's many different economical systems. What has the longest line of people wanting to get in there? It's America. Why is that?
Bam, here we go. So we got a guy here, Punisher says, the fucking VA hearing aids is just a small bit. I have knee, back, PTSD, and metal rods in my body, and these faggots still want to fight me on my claims. Bro, that's what I'm talking about, bro. See, shit like that pisses me off. How the fuck could you serve your country, get blown up in Iraq, and then niggas are trying to give you a hard time about medical care, bro? That's crazy, and you're a fucking veteran. You're a veteran fighting for this shit. It should be no questions asked. This is why for-profit medical care is a problem, bro. Our own soldiers, our own veterans are getting questioned with claims, man. It's fucking gay. It's probably a Jew that's questioning you too. We're gonna be honest. Oy vey. Oy vey. When you got blown up in Iraq, who did it? Was it Muhammad? Allahu Akbar! Was it Ahmed? Allahu Akbar! How'd they blow you up? Was it an IED? Okay, you got proof? Oh no? Sorry. Insurance claim denied. Like, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what these niggas are doing, bro. They send you to war, and then you say, bro, I need some health insurance. I need some help here. Here's my claim. They tell you,
denied.
Next thing you know, you're like, what? Boom, boom, boom.
15 million people came here illegally. Millions came here illegally just the last 4 years.
A lot of that is because of economic scarcity in other countries. Well, one of them, we could talk about one, is American exceptionalism, which is continuing. Good to meet you.
Thank you. Hi. What's your name?
My name's Hunter. I'm going to be
good to
honest,
meet
I've
you.
never seen your videos before. Even though there is some real value to free enterprise,
Yep.
the profit motive often creates a perverse incentive and worse outcomes in certain situations. For example, healthcare. How much
Okay. Now we can have a discussion.
would you pay for a life-saving treatment for yourself or one of your family members?
How much would I pay for it?
Say you have cancer and you have an 80% survival rate with chemotherapy and less than a 10% without it. How much would you pay? Whatever it takes, right?
Sure.
That's a situation of inelastic demand when the amount that you're willing to pay is not based on the value of the service because your life does not have a finite value. In the US, 66.5% of all bankruptcies are because of medical debt. In most other
This is true. This is one of the reasons why I don't like a for-profit healthcare system. This is true.
developed nations, that number is way lower, if not zero. And at the same time, the US does not have one of the best healthcare systems in the world. We pay over $13,000 per capita.
Yo,
Meanwhile,
you guys want to know something crazy that I found out while being here in Miami? You want to know what country you would never expect has a good-ass fucking medical system, especially dental system? Cuba, bro. Yo, some of the best doctors are in fucking Cuba, chat. I did not know that until I dated a Cuban chick. This was like a year or two ago. Lots of good doctors in Cuba, bro. I was shocked when I read it. I did not believe it, bro. Someone said that's a lie. It's not a lie, nigga. Look it up. She literally told me, yeah, I go back to Cuba for to go see my doctor. I was like, why? She was like, it's free and the doctors are really good. I was like, what? And I looked it up, and yeah, they got good dentists and they got good doctors there, bro. I couldn't believe it either, chat.
Taiwan, which by most metrics has the best healthcare system and a national healthcare service, only pays about $2,500 per capita per year.
So what does that tell you?
That tells
you what?
us-
That's wasted expenditure.
Yes, that is a massively wasted expenditure.
That tells you the government doesn't know how to spend our money.
No,
they keep
in our
raising
case,
taxes, we
we're
keep
spending-
more money, and they don't know how to spend the money.
No, most of that money is coming from private insurance. In fact, 77% of the people who went bankrupt from medical debt had insurance and then lost it because they couldn't pay.
So we can address that, the fact that 60-something% of bankruptcies are due to health, which is your right. We've done many content on that piece. I want you to come back to incentive. Address the issue with incentive.
Yeah, good argument, but it's not. Patrick did a really good save there, because if he went down the road, if he kept going down the road of healthcare, I think that's one of the few fields that capitalism actually loses. So the fact that he brought it back to incentive was actually very smart.
Right now with capitalism.
The reason why the medical debt is so high in that is because of the profit motive. If people will pay whatever it takes
profit
to
motive.
not die, the profit motive in that case is perverse, because healthcare shouldn't be a market in the same way that other things might be a market.
So you don't think the motive to have profit, to come out with a solution, is a good thing for the marketplace, specifically
I think
in the
it
healthcare
depends
side?
on which market you're talking about.
Okay, so now we're getting into the real crossroads here. Okay, and this is precisely what I was talking with you guys earlier. So on one end, right, new technology, new medicine, new breakthroughs, medical breakthroughs, right? You need that innovation. To get that innovation, there needs to be a capitalistic for-profit incentive to fund the research, fund the technology, fund the education, right? You need the capitalism to give that fucking gas. However, the people that are going to get said innovation, right? You want to be able to give them this healthcare, this innovation, without bleeding them dry, knowing that they will pay whatever it takes to get this innovation. Does that make sense, chat? You should be able to save your aunt's life at a reasonable price without these predatory fucking insurance companies or medical companies or whatever the fuck it is, this predatory healthcare system, I'll say, bleeding you dry and cashing in on your compassion for your family member. You guys want to know who does this at the worst level? And I learned this shit from having Frank. The veterinary system. Oh my God. Yo, you guys want to see an abuse of the medical system? Bro, these niggas bleed you for money all day. Because obviously, the pet insurance industry is not the same as like the human insurance industry. So they know, and they tell you to do shit all the time, and they nickel and dime you for your fucking dog. And since human beings a lot of times have a deep fucking connection to their animals and their pets, they will pay the price. And a lot of the times it's got to be out of pocket because there's not much pet insurance. So what I'm trying to say is we never want to get to a point where human healthcare becomes like animal healthcare. Animal healthcare, pet healthcare is extremely predatory. And I didn't realize it until I got Frank. These dudes fucking nickel and dime you. God damn. So both parties here are right in my opinion. I see both perspectives. One is he doesn't, this guy that's on camera right now, he doesn't want people to be finessed by the healthcare system, capitalizing on their sorrow. But Pat is saying, in order for them to come up with the innovation in the first place, you need it to be capitalistic. So we got to find a way to blend the two where everyone wins.
It's way different. We're talking about video games or cell phones or TVs or other goods that aren't as necessary as
You're
healthcare
specific to
treatments.
healthcare.
Yes, I'm talking specifically about healthcare and certain other markets where there's a natural...
You ever heard of Home Depot?
Yes, I'm aware.
So one of the guys who's the founders of Home Depot, investors of Home Depot, his name is Ken Langone. His father died at 62 years old. Ken Langone today is roughly 90 years old, give or take. When he died at 62 years old, he tells the story that if there was a simple thing as blood thinners, his father would have lived to be 90 years old just like he is today.
Yes, that makes sense.
Came because of innovation, which he's been on for many years. My dad's been on blood thinners for the last 40 years. So
I think
the
you're conflating two things right now. Not all innovation is the result of the market, because many healthcare developments are created by research grants from healthcare funding, whether it's in the United States or in other countries. In most other first world countries, the result of medical research developments, which are massively outpacing that in the U.S. now because of our inefficiency, because we have a market-based system for healthcare.
A very basic question for you.
Most of that is because of non-market-based systems.
Basic question for you. If that's the case, it keeps going back to the same thing. If it's better in other places than it is here, why are Americans and others not going there? Why are people coming here? It's very basic.
How much does a plane ticket cost?
No, they have the money to go to different places. They don't, because they know America's the greatest country in the world. They know it.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Nice to meet you, by the way.